Okay, hey everyone. Sorry about the delay. It's probably just gonna be me doing nothing for like 20 seconds because I get weird about the delay. So, can you hear me and everything okay? I can't believe I'm like aspiring to be on other platforms when I'm baby. So let me know if you can hear me okay, and we'll get into today's little potentially no one is in here. Loud and clear. Okay, cool. So I thought I would give you guys some time today to watch the video and then open it up to like sort of a behind the scenes discussion with like channel members and stuff. I'd love to involve the community as much as possible, and it's cool that you guys are all here. Definitely howdy. So I've been playing a little bit with like streaming and things like that, so I thought I would walk you guys through a little bit of the process today of the video that Morgan and I made together. So if you didn't catch Morgan and I's video, I'll pull it up analog. Not necessarily, analog isn't the right word at all. So Morgan and I had a video that came out today. This one. And it's monetized. That's great news. So Morgan came over and we were talking about origin stories. So while I was in DC, the concept of this video was while I was in DC, I saw a bunch of YouTubers speak and I got really excited about like my origin story of YouTube. And although it's not really unique, like if you watch the video, Morgan and I have like a little bit of back and forth in the beginning because I talk about how like I didn't put a lot of value in my origin story because I didn't feel like it was that groundbreaking or that magnificent. However, channel members know I've been reading a bunch of YouTubers like biographies lately, which there's like, you can see, if you follow me on Instagram, you can see in my picture that like these biographies like photobomb the picture. There's like Lily Singh's bio right there. And I was thinking like, what about Morgan and I? Like, what about Morgan's origin story? I've always kind of wanted to know it. It's kind of like you make friends, and why would I ask that question? I don't know. So I invited Morgan over to talk about her story. And I wrote a note in my phone, which is kind of like where some of my ideas come from. I write a lot of notes in my phone that never become videos, so I was happy that this one became a video. So it says, these are just like my thoughts. Like, I'll write down kind of thoughts that aren't complete sentences, but I have a hard time reading my own handwriting. So even though I'll keep a notepad in my purse, it doesn't do anybody any good. So it says, Morgan and I, open table discussion about how YouTube let us talk about our body modifications when there wasn't or isn't a platform for us to do it before. How traditional tattoo magazines don't represent us, but we have the chance to represent ourselves and the communities we've built around it. So I'll say that our video a little bit strayed from that original concept, but that was kind of the message I sent to Morgan, and I sent her that a couple weeks ago, right? So when was I in DC? Probably like yesterday. So I sent that to Morgan like in the middle of the day, and she responded immediately and was into it. Morgan is really great about like being very upfront and asking questions, so it's really great to work with Morgan, and I would say awful to work with me because I am like a people pleaser. I don't like to create static, and I like horribly do it. Like my friend Rosie, this is an example. My friend Rosie had film sent to my P.O. box, and it was just like mislabeled or something, so it never showed up. And I put that off for like 8 weeks because I didn't want to tell her that like I messed it up somehow. So Morgan's really great on the other end of the spectrum because there's no nuance. It's just like, I don't understand this. This is what I want. Why? Morgan asks why, and it's brilliant. Because sometimes I don't know why, and it's great to like think critically about the question why. So Morgan and I met up. It takes her like an hour to get to my house. And the way that we set up the filming was with a 4 lighting setup. So 4 light sources and 2 camera angles. So a lot of the lights that I use these lights. These are the newest addition to like my filming setup, and these are great because they have like little plastic slides that I bought a bunch of for lighting effects. Right now, a lighting effect that's really popular is like, whoa, half blue and like half red and stuff like that. So I have a bunch of different lights, but these are great to like break up shadows. I'm not a professional in any means, and I did have to do some color correcting in the video, which always kind of looks terrible whenever I have to do it. But I used those lights and then 2 ring lights. And what was a cool thing that I did on this video was I used audio recording from my phone. So you can see, and I didn't hide my phone in any of the footage. It looks rather natural, like just sitting on the desk there. But you can see right there on top of my Lily Sings book is my cell phone. So on my cell phone, I just used voice memos. The recording software in the iPhone, I said this in like a video like years ago. It's really great software. And I had ordered a boom mic for Morgan and I's video that I didn't get until the next day. So I haven't even unboxed it yet. But it didn't get to us in time, and I was really worried because I wanted this video to, you know, not be a waste of Morgan's time and like represent the story well. So I think all of the audio captured from the iPhone just sitting on the table in front of us was really great. So I'm going to pull up my Adobe Premiere and kind of just talk to you guys about how I edited this video. So forgive me, I'm not like, this is like a big thing for me to be able to pull this up while I'm live streaming right now. So I'm sorry if it's a little brutal. Okay. So if you guys are familiar with Adobe Premiere, this is the editing software that I use. It's pretty difficult, and Morgan uses, not After Effects, Morgan uses Final Cut Pro. And when I was at my little YouTube class, I talked to some other channels that also use Final Cut Pro, and like one of my favorite YouTubers, like Best Dressed, I think she uses Final Cut Pro. I have recently switched back to PC, so I'm using Adobe Premiere. So this is kind of what my little workspace looked like. With Morgan and I's video, I had a bunch of different layers of track and visual. So you can kind of come in here and see, like, this is a little spot where this is my second camera angle, and then this is my main camera angle. And the way I edited that was I just put all of them on top of each other, and I would pull it if I wanted to extend it, and then cut it if I didn't want it anymore. And that's just kind of how I lay two camera angles. So if I'm working with two camera angles, I like to do that because I actually edited it out of the video, but I mentioned to Morgan in our first video that we ever made, one of my cameras actually died and we didn't notice for like 15 minutes. So I do like having two cameras, but one of my cameras just has a much higher quality than the other. But they're both HD cameras, so I can, you know, export all of this in 1080, no problem. But I do like this secondary camera angle because it is with my Samsung NX Mini camera. And this camera has a top flip screen, which is just really nice to work with. It has a very natural, like when you are looking at the screen, it's like a very natural look. It doesn't look like you're looking at a monitor because it's right above the lens. And it's just like a very flattering camera. It looks really good. It's super user-friendly. So when you hit auto, it's just great content, I feel like. So I love using this camera, but this camera's on its last leg. Like, the screen is cracked. You can see when I like wave it back and forth, the crack is like kind of deep in there. And my camera no longer will be recognized by my computer, so I have to pull out my memory card every time I use it. Which is sad, but that is the second camera angle for this video. So if I unmute all of these tracks,
being online. I was comfortable being online. Yeah, I was super comfortable being online because I came from MySpace. So I was gonna say, like, what took you from, like...
You can hear a delay that is, like, you can hear a delay in the tracks. The way I've been taught to unify all of your audio tracks is, like, with a clap. And then if you have that loud clap, you would hear it. It would make one of these waves. You can kind of see that most of my little waves are mostly uniform, but because it's 3 different audio sources, they're just not exactly synced. If you have Final Cut Pro, there is software that syncs all of this stuff for you. Maybe there is in Adobe Premiere as well, but I've always just manually synced it. So when I edit, this is generally what my workspace looks like. I will extend all of my audio so I can see it, just like this. I don't do it with my visual. A lot of people edit this way, like with the visual, but I don't. I just like get rid of that. I just make that as small as possible. And then I do like when my audio is visible. Another little trick, or like something I do, is you can look through your audio and find like a lull, like maybe right here. See this like area that is like nothing is going on? Like, I probably could have edited this out and, you know, it's probably just like a natural pause, but I could have probably got rid of that. So it's good, I feel like, to see your audio. So something that was fun about this video was like getting some of this footage. Some of these like pictures of Morgan I ended up not using just because I thought maybe the video would get demonetized. Morgan's video was demonetized, so she told me that ahead of time. So I had like a day to kind of edit things out of our video that I thought would be a problem. However, not really much was a problem in this video, I think, for us. There was some stuff I left out, and like I said in like my original note, I wanted the video to talk a little bit more about tattooing and body modification, but it kind of ended up taking its own form, which I was pretty happy with. So I think that the video was like a great like representation of us. But that was like a little bit of the behind the scenes. I know it doesn't seem that hard, and I know there was like some critique about how bogus our second camera angle was, but actually let me pull it up. I actually enjoyed when I see something where you call something like artistic integrity, but really that's not what it is. I actually enjoyed the second camera angle just for what it was. I think that it's really flattering. Like, it's a really flattering look for Morgan, and I think it's like an interesting angle for me. When the video starts, I cut it out, but I tell Morgan if we had one more camera, we could do a 60 minutes and we could do behind my shoulder. But I think this, if I cropped it to look like this, it would be more appealing visually during the show. That seems like a lot more natural. However, in a lot of the far shots, especially in the beginning, Ethan is asleep on the arm of the chair, and editing him out felt cruel. Like, if you see Ethan here, kind of, like, editing Ethan's little handout, I don't know, like, this would have been a really nice crop. Like, becoming educated on that was my top interest. Like, and I think Morgan would still look flattering like this, but, I guess for artistic integrity, I kept Ethan in most of the shots. So I was kind of aware that cropping this would make it look good, for sure, which was my intention. Like, I think that that is the exact angle I wanted to capture, because it's a little bit above, like, your natural eye line, whereas this footage, like, is at the eye line. But I don't know. That's just something I kind of chose. Oh, did I leave this in here? Oh, what does that mean? Memory card full. Alright, there's probably just some flops on there I needed to leave. Okay, I don't think I meant to leave that clip in there. You can kind of see how these two blocks are hollow, which meant I probably started to delete them. That happens. This is behind the scenes quicken for you. But yeah, I think once Ethan left, I probably could have made these a little more flattering. Also, but like, still, what can you say? I'm a low budget slow-mo lad. I also like that the far angle kind of left room for me to, like, put things in the side, almost like a newscaster. Like, I was able to, like, pop that right over, and it doesn't interfere with us. But then I actually lose that camera angle right around here. That the camera just died. However, it was interesting to me. Morgan and I, in the beginning of this video, have a kind of an in-depth conversation about how we have just different filming styles and different setups. And it was definitely interesting to just be a part of. Let's see. All of these, like, beginning, like, light tests have all of the cats in them. Like, this light test right here that has Olive in it is so crazy. Oh, this track is muted. It looks yellow. You fix it.
Oh yeah, that's never happened.
Projects like this always end up with, like, a ton of behind the scenes kind of footage. I don't think I come in until, like, right here. Okay.
And I'm like, I have to check and see if it's in focus.
So I would say in total we got over an hour of footage, but as far as like usable footage or stuff that I deemed interesting, or just like things I thought would take away from the topic, like I think Morgan and I have a really good back and forth, so it's almost difficult. Not difficult isn't the right word because our chemistry is pretty natural, but it was fun. Like, I think if you look at Morgan's video, you can see that, like, both of us got, like, our serious out and we had to get, like, our sillies in. I actually changed shirts when I filmed for Morgan because I had, like, sweat through that, like, white shirt that I was wearing. So Stephanie says you can always post behind the scenes videos on your second channel. That would be some cool content. I think that is actually like a really great place to have behind the scenes. So that's really great info. So Amanda says the multiple angles also made it look like more of a TV type interview. For sure. So like I said, I always want, like, if Morgan like makes the drive and everything like that, if I ever host anybody, I always want it to be the best quality possible. Like, so having the second angle, I think, is always great. I think it always makes a little bit more of an interest. I feel like it keeps the video from being flat, and just the changing angles can, I think, just help your attention more. And like I said, it's great insurance if one of the videos stops or like stops recording and things like that. It's great to have your second camera angle almost to like back you up. Like I said in here, I lose the second camera angle for the like majority of the end. Like, you can see right here is when I lose that second camera angle. So we only have this one. Yeah, it stops. It stops over here. At some point, like, John walks in. It's like a whole...
We're so curious. It was just very strange for me for people to be interested in my interests.
I love it. So that is kind of the behind the scenes for the video that Morgan and I made. I think one of my favorite things about this video is just how well the iPhone captured that audio. Like, I was really, really impressed, and even though my phone is in view the entire time, like I said, I think it goes pretty unnoticed. And I thought it was really, really interesting. So that was the behind the scenes of Morgan and I's video. I would say in total, Morgan spent like 3 hours at my house, maybe less, and then we went out to eat. We went to a pizza place and we actually got noticed. And it was funny. The girl noticed me first. And she was like talking to me, and then Morgan paid and turned around and she noticed Morgan and she just lost her mind. It was actually really fun. I would say like it's really great when Morgan comes around because her and I like have so many parallels and so many similar experiences. And we also like really get along as friends. Like there will be things I get hung up on in like social media world, and I say it in the video, like Morgan's never left me on red. Morgan is one of my friends who picks up the phone when I call. It's really refreshing. I am a like phone call person. Too many texts in my inbox is like self-sabotage. Like it gets to a point where I can't answer them. So it is really great that like I can just call Morgan on the phone It's beautiful. So the girl like freaked out when she noticed Morgan, and she asked for a picture, and I've actually been waiting for it to like surface on social media, because I was like, let's take a funny picture where Morgan and I are beating you up. And she was like, okay. So Morgan's like pretending to punch her, and I'm like choking her, and she's like alive. It hasn't surfaced on social. Like, maybe it just like sounded like a good idea and didn't translate, or maybe it was like on her Snapchat. But I thought that was really fun. It was like a great ending to like Morgan coming to Philly and getting some great food, and just like making a sick video where we just like got to talk shop and everything like that. I think it'd be cool if Morgan and I did like a live Q&A. That would be sick. A lot of like, I would say one of the big inspirations behind this video, aside from origins, was kind of that I sometimes feel underrepresented in like my subculture. And then it's like, what kind of representation do I deserve? Like, I definitely agree, but I do wonder like why Morgan like isn't more famous sometimes, you know what I mean? It was really cool that she got to walk. She is really famous, like, and I think that she's had a lot of success, and if you look up like, I guess, her media kit, she's done it all. But I did want to like talk about that. And I think in the video I say like, what have you ever tried like another platform? And she says no. I may have edited that out just because it was a question that like didn't really go anywhere. But yeah, I would love to. I'm like happy that YouTube gets to be that place, because YouTube is the answer to the question of why do I feel underrepresented. YouTube is the answer that is like, well, I don't have to feel underrepresented because I have every opportunity to represent myself on YouTube. And I get a little sappy. I think I edited a lot of that out. But YouTube is a place where I have a lot of opportunity. And it's fun that it was kind of like Morgan and I's natural calling. But it was cool that we both got to a similar place, and YouTube gets to be that thing. I do get down on social media, and I do wonder about social media sometimes, but I do have to find like a happy medium where I'm posting to YouTube and it doesn't necessarily need to be supplemented by like hours of being on social. But that is definitely a conversation, like, one, I can have with Morgan pretty like in a healthy way, because I think Morgan does it pretty well. And two, it's kind of just like a growing pain that I'm interested in learning more about and figuring out what works for me. And I'd love to know what works for you guys when you feel like maybe you've consumed too much social media. I think one thing we've been doing a lot of is playing video games. And it almost seems like counterproductive in the like scheme of things. Okay, I think we're back. Okay, looks like we're back. Okay, we're back. So I think almost a little counterproductive, like we've been like playing video games, but it's kind of a great way to just unplug in a plugged in way. So that's kind of where my mind has been a little bit when I feel like I've had too much social media, or like I've been on Instagram for too long, or like I think Raw Christy Beauty was talking about it earlier, like you can't unsee the things you see on accident on social. And I think that that's challenging as well. I I'm definitely open to a system where that gets filtered better. But when I just feel like a little too overloaded on social media, it's cool to like start to put on video games. Also, I've been like trying to read a lot more books, and that can be difficult as well, just because I feel like my mind is super, super, super fast paced and conditioned to go really, really fast paced, just like scrolling and refreshing and all of that stuff. I feel like I've almost pushed my mind past like being able to comprehend something a little more slow paced. But the books I'm reading right now I really like. I don't know if it's controversial, but like I started reading Shane Dawson's biography a couple weeks ago before everything that was going on with him, and it's actually like very clever and interesting. It's from like 5 years ago, so it's not current at all. Most of the books I'm reading from YouTubers aren't, but that's kind of just where I am, and I'm planning on making a video with that. That's something like channel members are aware of, but yeah, it's funny that we've been playing video games. And for Twitch or like streaming video games on YouTube, I do want to do that. There's just like a little thing I need to order on Amazon that I think I'm going to order like next payday. It's just like a little box so you can convert. It's almost like the same technology as converting VHS to DVD. It converts like what is being shown on your television to, I guess, put it on your computer. With more modern games, I don't think you have to do that, or you can connect through HDMI, but with my older systems like N64, I do need that little device. We've been crunching some pennies over here on the old Quicken channel, so I think that's like a goal I have, at least like before summer, to start figuring out how I can stream these games, because they are very nostalgic and it's just like some feel-good times to play a little Banjo-Kazooie. But ooh, hey Alex, welcome to the channel members. I would love to do a Twitch stream. I've actually been talking to you guys about Twitch, and I think it's a direction I want to go in, like stream 2 or 3 times a week. Like I was mentioning, like a couple times a week I get really overwhelmed, so I think it would be really great to like channel that and almost force myself to like do a thing. I've also been going to the gym, but that's a video that's happening in the future. So I opened up the last 10 minutes for everybody in the chat, but this was kind of just like a cool little private-ish live stream. So I'm going to unlist this live stream and just make it available for channel members. That way it's like kind of exclusive and fun and something to look forward to and something I want to challenge myself to create more of. Let me know if you liked seeing some of the behind the scenes. I know looking at editing software can be a little intimidating if you're not familiar with it. So let me know if there's something I could have done to make it less scary. But from me to you, the iPhone records so well. I loved the quality of that. All of the like native audio that was picked up on my camera is a little harsh, so it's just like very smooth, very chill. M says on Twitch you can create subscriber only emotes to use in the chat. I'm actually in a contract or like in works with someone doing all of the, like a new branding for my channel, so it's going to be able to like bring all of those things together. I do have plans on moving to Twitch. Saying these things out loud and not being able to like promise them right away is like hard, so I feel bad, but behind the scenes was cool. I know nothing about editing a video, so seeing all the layers of audio and visual and how it works together was cool. Thank you. Sometimes it's just like the very few creators I follow, like sometimes I can go through their videos and see that not that I follow very few creators, I follow a ton of creators, but the few of them who share their behind the scenes is always some of my favorite content. So if you're like me and you didn't know you liked it, there it is. Chilling on Twitch seems really great. Well, this back room is also being redesigned by somebody you know, so I think everything is going to fall into place, and I'm just so excited for the future, but it's just not here yet, so I do feel like I'm in a little state of limbo, but I'm also super excited for everything that's coming. So I can't thank you guys enough for supporting me. I know it might feel like a little bit of an in-between, but thanks for your support. I hope you like little things like this. It's something I'm definitely excited to implement. And with a video like this, where there was a little bit more challenging behind the scenes and camera work, like, my ABBA letter video did have behind the scenes, but there's always a little behind the scenes, so I love to share it with you. Yeah, the current Quicken emotes on the channel I designed myself, so they're terrible. But they're like locked in. I like can't change them. That's why the Quicken emoticon is me as a zombie. A little off brand, but on brand in the way that we're stuck with it. So thank you guys again, and if you haven't seen today's video, definitely check it out. Now you've seen the behind the scenes, so now see the scenes. I love you guys so much, and I can't thank you guys enough. Bye.